Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Real Reds Talk. Today, we are going to individually rank our brand new transfers and how they're doing so far. Obviously, it's very early doors, so we can't go overboard with it, but we can still make an assessment on what we've seen so far. We're also going to discuss the positive underlying numbers with Man United at the minute and some really surprising statistics, which I think super interesting and maybe paints a different kind of picture. I want to talk about Matthijs de Ligt's international future, which seems very, very bleak at the moment if you've been following him with Netherlands. We had a report coming out from Duncan Castles that Semenyo had dinner with Amorim, which, again, God knows if that's true or not, but we'll speak about him as a player because he's had a really good start. And then Sekou Kone as well has also returned to training after that horrific accident that he had. Speaking of horrific accident, Shreyas, how are you, mate?
Broken would be one term to define it.
Explain to the community what happened.
Okay. So basically, in Delhi, pretty much it has been raining pretty badly, like very very badly. Like the roads are waterlogged, and I was on my way back home on a bike, and the road was completely choked out with water, and the back tire of the bike, the rear end, it got stuck, and the front end was still running. So it got completely disbalanced, and it fell over on its right side. My foot was on the footrest, and it got stuck in the footrest and the suspension of the bike. So when it got like this, it started to skid for like 5 to 10 meters along with me, and I was trying to use my arm to slow down the speed, because of which I got a few scratches. But luckily enough, nothing too bad.
Sorry, I'm trying really bad not to, because I've just got a vision of you in my head on a bike like that, on its front wheel, stuck and kind of like going to the side. Obviously, it could have been a lot worse.
And it was still raining.
But... so you got piss wet through. Did you fall off the bike into the flood, like into the thing? Yeah. And where was this? On your way to work? On your way back?
On my way back home.
Oh, at least it's on your way back home. Imagine if it would have been on your way to work. Oh my God.
The thing was, when I started from work, it wasn't raining at all.
Yeah.
When I got out and it was 10 minutes, it started to rain. And within 30 minutes, the road was completely choked out.
Must have been heavy rain, that.
Yeah, a lot. I sent you a couple of pictures on the group as to how it looked. So it was pretty bad. But luckily, I didn't get the worst of it, I would say. It was still quite lucky. Just a few bruises on the knees and the hands. But besides that, quite lucky. Because there was a lot of cars and a lot of trucks on that road as well. So I managed to fall on the right side, which was not too crowded.
Yeah, well, thank God it was something more serious. To be fair, I feel like we're live on CNN News or something at the minute, but there is actually quite a mixture of stories to go through. Like, we've got, like I said, the transfer window, we've got some metrics, Semenyo, etc. So let's kick things off with the summer window. I know you did something similar with Sam, but obviously now we've had, there's a few weeks gone by or whatever, and we've had time to watch these players and actually get a look at them in a Man United shirt, and I'm already getting grilled for some of them. But we'll dive through opinions. Of course, anyone who's watching live or if you're watching later on, get involved yourself. Any opinions? It's international break, so yeah, it's a mixture of things. It's going to be interesting. So we'll start with, I think it's only right to start with the goalkeepers. We always start with the goalkeepers when we do the starting lineup. So Son, Le Mans, we haven't had a chance to see yet. But obviously, the names that were floating about were Donnarumma, Diogo Costa at some point, James Trafford before he went to Manchester City. He's probably regretting that move himself now with Donnarumma going in.
That move's not going to work.
No, I don't think so myself. Weird move from Pep. But yeah, there's a couple of goalkeepers that we were linked to, probably a couple that I'm forgetting as well. But what do you think of Ineos going with this option, and why do you think they've gone with him in particular?
The thing is, I was watching this clip from Karl Anka the other day, and he defined him as Baby De Gea. So the moment I heard it, I was like, same age when De Gea came. He's near around the same age as well, very young, from a different league to United when, you're struggling with actually replacing an old keeper. Because I remember when De Gea came, we were again struggling to actually find a keeper who can do a job for us, and we were, struggling with options. So the thing I really like about him is he's a very decent shot stopper.
Yeah.
He's a very, very decent shot stopper, and he has, his go-to style, not an unorthodox style like Andre Onana, with the way he actually, stops his shots. But I'm still quite happy with Ineos that they went with this move, because the way it was, looking more towards like we're going to stick with Onana and Bindy for the rest of the season. And I think even when they saw these first 3 to 4 games of the season, they understood as to how bad the situation is when it comes to the keepers. Because if you see our games, we've played well. Honestly, we've played well. But in certain occasions, the way you concede a goal, it just completely demoralizes the entire team.
Yep.
And it's happened with other good teams before, who you could say, like for 80 minutes, they played well. But because of that one goal, those 10-minute periods, they've started to look, a bit jaded. They look underconfident, and it has an effect on the whole team, and especially on the defense, because they feel that, if even a single shot goes in, I'm not sure if
All
my
their
goalkeeper.
hard work has
Yeah.
gone to waste. It's like
And-
trying to dig yourself out of a tunnel, and then once you get nearly there, the person behind you chucks a load of shit in front of it, and you're just like, what's the
And
point?
because of that, you don't give enough credit to these defenders, because I think Lenny Yoro has been impeccable. I think De Ligt has been absolutely incredible as well. Shaw has looked very decent, but you don't see them getting enough credit because of it, because of the way you concede the goals. And when you concede goals, it falls on the back line. No matter how, who makes the error or who makes the mistake, it just falls on the back line. So I think this was a very, very important move, and I'm quite hopeful that this guy is going to work out, because when it comes to United and these important positions, I'm more concerned when you get these big names who are supposedly the end product, supposedly the ones who are going to come in and completely elevate that position. I think he carries a lot less pressure on his shoulders, because I have a very strong feeling he's going to start the derby. And on the other end, I think that Donnarumma is going to start the derby as well. So personally, I think Donnarumma will be under more pressure in comparison to Son Lemons, because City have not had a great start, and people have been, coming very strongly against United, that they had not played really well. But, if you look at City, they've been worse, I would say, in my opinion. And I think right now that derby actually carries a lot of weight. And if a player like, a youngster like him is able to perform in a Manchester derby, as his first debut game, it gives the player a lot of confidence. It's a double-edged sword that, if it doesn't work out, you're under a lot of pressure. But if it does work out, the player comes out of it really strong. So personally, I'm quite optimistic with this Le Mans deal. And I think a lot of United fans will be quite happy with it as well, because again, this is a player who I don't think United would have ever been linked to if it was the previous regime still working. They would have, again, the numbers players you mentioned, Diego Costa, and these sort of players would be the ones you're getting linked with again and again. This is a different direction that Ineos have moved about, and the last player who isn't that well known and we've gone for him has been Dorgu, and I think Dorgu has looked fine in this team, like genuinely. So I'm quite hopeful that this player is going to work out for us.
It's a weird one with me, because I think clips can be taken out of context both ways. You can watch a highlight clip of Le Mans and it could look like the best goalkeeper ever in terms of, and I've done it because we've literally done a video for Le Mans, kind of looking at him as a goalkeeper, and he saved, I think, 5 out of 7 penalties as well, which is obviously incredible. Decent with his feet, everything you want in a modern goalkeeper. But then I've seen clips of him doing things that I've seen Onana do or De Gea do in his early periods.
The thing is, you need to see it from your own eyes. Because
that was going to be my next point. Like, you've got to watch him in the Premier League, which is a world apart from the Belgian Pro League. It just is in terms of quality and the strikers that you're coming up against. I mean, could you name one top level striker in the Belgian Pro League? Because I couldn't. Who plays in there? You know what I'm saying? So he's going to be coming up against your Isaacs of the world, your fucking Haalands, who rarely miss. So the metrics will change there naturally anyway. But I don't know. I want to see him in a United shirt first, and then I can make my assessment. If I'm being brutally honest and like gut feeling, I don't. It's not like I don't like the signing, because I don't know him. I haven't watched him.
Yeah.
I just get the feeling that I get from it. I'm not sure if it's gonna if he's going to be that top level goalkeeper. But we don't know yet, do we?
Mhm.
It's one of them things we have to kind of wait and see.
We are going to have to see it, because again, the thing is, you can see 6 videos of him that he's the next big thing. You can see the other 6 videos saying that, he's quite vulnerable in this and that. But I think at this point, when it comes to clips, you can see it of every player. For that matter, if you look at Edison and Allison, they've got a fail compilation as well so far in the Prem as well. So you need to do a personal eye test on these players, especially, when they're moving all the way from a different league to the Premier League. And again, I hope it works out, because he's probably our last option. And again, I doubt he'll be worse than Onana or Bayindir, because that is, the benchmark that has been set.
I hope not. Because if he is, then that really has been a catastrophic signing. T2 Rizzo joining us saying, evening lads, there's a little itch I can't scratch in the back of my mind. We seem to pivot our approach plan a few times. Acting fast and being flexible is good. Not sure we followed a plan though. Are you on about tactically? Elaborate on that a little bit more. Are you on about Ruben Amorim in games, switching up too much for you? Elaborate slightly on it if you can, and obviously more and more people joining us. Elaborate on the players as well that we'll discuss. So Le Mans again, wait and see. We've not seen anything of him in the United shirt so far, so we'll wait for that one and see who. Do you think you said he's going to start in the derby, didn't you?
Yeah.
Interesting. I think that would be a baptism of fire. That's a strong choice for him, innit? But then you risk.
You can't stand Onana. You can't start by India. So it's either Heaton or Le Mans, and I think it's going to be Le Mans.
But I genuinely, I know this sounds mad, I think one mistake from him in that game could really almost control the narrative of his career.
It's a double-edged sword. If he makes a mistake and it doesn't go well, the pressure, it would be like what happened to Xerxes during that Liverpool game.
Exactly.
He got his first start.
Yeah.
But if it works out, it's going to come out like, with the way Cunha made his debut against Arsenal, and you just knew that, this player is going to, that is the feeling.
I trust Ineos more with their signings. Like you mentioned Patrick Dorgu before. Another one in a similar position, Diego Leon. We signed this summer Shreyas for, I think, £1.5 million or something. I don't think we've yet to see him have a minute in the Premier League yet, which is kind of understandable. The kid's just come from Paraguay. Again, you talk about being worlds apart. It's even farther apart than the Belgian Pro League. I mean, the Paraguayan League, I don't know where that would rank in the top 100 or whatever.
It's basically a league where you play rugby and football together because it's so physical.
Yeah. It's just good luck to you anyway if you're playing in that league, which shows, he has got a bit of robustness about him. He has got that size about him, the strength.
But it's like a tank.
Yeah, I liked what I saw in pre-season. Obviously, there was some jittery bits. There was some bits where you're like, oh, not entirely sure. But like you said, the way he's built for a young kid, he's just like, I think tank's probably the perfect way to describe him, isn't it?
Exactly. I remember this one game where he came on and it was like, he's not even looking where he's passing the ball or, the way he's dribbling. He was just kicking the ball, and whoever came beside him, he used to just, shrug them away, and he got an assist in that game with a goal. I don't remember what game it was, but I think his physicality is going to come in really handy, especially, in these games where you expect other teams to have that sort of physical dominance in the box, or those sort of areas. You need someone to come in and level the playing field. I think he can come good. I think physicality wouldn't be an issue for him. The only thing is how well he's going to be able to develop, especially with how many minutes he gets this season.
Yeah, interesting. Again, one to measure really with Diego Leon. I want to see. I'd say we'd see him in cup appearances, but obviously without the Carabao Cup now, so we won't play in the FA Cup until January, which means I don't know if you're going to see any minutes from him. It might be a development program kind of thing. I'll have 6 months of him and then try him in a game in the FA Cup, potentially. We'll wait and see. But the thing is, the one thing I'm worried about that position is the rotation for those areas, wing-backs. If you drop Ahmad, who isn't a natural wing-back anyway, he's more of like it seems like a hybrid in that kind of position. You've got Dallo, and we all know the faults with him. And then if Dorgu gets injured, again, it's Dallo who's going to play there over Leon, because Dallo is the more senior player. So that I hope none of them get injured. I really, really pray Ahmad doesn't pick up another big injury, or Dorgu, because I think we're going to be fucked in that area. I know we've got Majari as well, who's just coming back. But again, Majari seems a little bit injury prone at the minute. He can't seem to...
You need to proceed with caution with him.
Yes.
But again, when he's back, he's fully fit. I would put him in that, centre-back department because he's just so good. Honestly, in that department, he's really good. But like you mentioned, I'm a bit concerned about Ahmad personally because uh, I think he came to life in that final 10 to 15 minutes against Burnley. I think he
Definitely.
actually, I actually saw a lot more of him, demanding more
Yeah.
on the ball, looked more threatening. But I still have to see the best of Ahmad like I saw last season. And
Yeah.
I think people are saying that he needs to play in the 10. I don't think it's an issue with playing the 10 or playing out
No.
wide because
It's
in this
chemistry
system,
on the
yeah,
right
it's
hand side.
chemistry. They need, I think with Dorgu and Cunha, we've been quite lucky because they just fit in like a glove in that department. They both know how to complement each other. I think with Mbumo and Ahmad, it's going to take a bit of time, but
Yeah.
I think once you get both of them firing, that side is going to look a lot more threatening than it does right now.
Absolutely agree with that. You mentioned Mateus Cunha there. We might as well discuss him. Obviously picked up an injury against Burnley. Went down with his hamstring. It's not thought to be as bad as first initially thought. So whether he's going to be fit for the derby or not, I have no idea. But the positive thing is it happened as the international break was coming in. So he's not going to miss that many games. But he has been... obviously, he's not got a goal or an assist yet in a Premier League game or Cup game, I don't think. I mean,
he's
tell
been
me if I'm wrong.
so unlucky in front of goal.
Yeah.
I think he's hit the post twice.
The Fulham one for me was the biggest one, the kick from Altai. I mean, if he would have buried that, I mean, he's got a habit of scoring good goals against Fulham anyway. But for me, he's looked like a Man United, every bit of the Man United player. And this is why stats aren't always important. I always have arguments to go back and forth with people in the comment section, which you should never do. But sometimes you do because they're like, what the fuck has he done? He's not scored or got an assist yet. But it's like, it's not all about that. Like, look at the tactical difference that he brings to the team, the way we can progress from the back a little bit more when he's dropping in, the way he's beating players, which opens space naturally for other players. I just think everything he brings, he looks really exciting and dynamic. And I feel like he's going to be worth every bit of money.
I think he is in, from the first minute, like making your debut against Arsenal at Old Trafford is a big pressure game.
Yeah.
And he just absolutely schooled that defense, with Gabriel, Saliba, Calafiori, I think was in there as well. But, he just ran through their entire defensive line. I think, again, Arsenal got very lucky to end up with that game with a win. But I think he troubled them a lot, especially, with the way he dribbles past his opponents. He's relentless, pressing wise, off the ball movement. He's the very definition of an, Amorim system player. Like what he wants in that number 10 position, he defines it. And I think, again, he's going to be a big key figure for us this season. I think he's going to be a big problem for other Premier League oppositions. And again, this is the first time that, United have signed an attacker, and I feel a lot more optimistic. Even though he hasn't gotten a goal in his first 3 games, I still feel a lot more optimistic that, he's going to be really good.
Yeah, 100% agree. Alex is saying, Mbumo Cunha is your staple signings and Cesco Lamons as players looking to take the next step up. High 8, I'm happy. I always forget Leon and that PSG winger, but I think they're future players. Yeah, what's his name? The winger, it begins with a K, doesn't it? The young kid from France who we signed. He's like a 16-year-old kid. It's like a...
From Lausanne. No. From Havre, I think we signed him.
Yeah, I know who Alex is referring to, but yeah, I mean, again, it's another one who give it a few years and we'll see what happens with that. Next up, Brian Mbumo. For me, I'm watching him in the flesh, honestly, against Burnley. I've never seen him live before. He's got one of the best first touches I've ever seen, genuinely. You play that ball into him from any angle, whether it's over the top, drill it into it, like whatever it is, he just cushions it perfectly nearly almost every single time. His awareness on the pitch as well, to kind of find little pockets, really good.
Could have gotten an assist as well in that game against Burnley. I don't know. Honestly, he squared it to Ahmad.
He was the best player on the pitch, Mbumo. He really, really was. And when we first signed him, I was like, I think Cunha's going to be more important in different areas. But with Mbumo, I think if we're going to score a lot of goals this season, he's going to be a massive part of that, because we don't, like you say, have an out-and-out number 9. So now the reliance is on Mateus and it's on Brian. But what have you made of him so far since he's come in?
Again, like you mentioned, I think he's very rapid. I think he's very quick, and this is something that I've really liked from him. Decision making wise, he's lightning quick. Whether he wants to make a pass, whether he wants to run in behind, whether he wants to make go for a shot, he's quite decisive. There is no hesitation from him, and having that sort of confidence in your locker is the reason United have actually gone for him and paid the big bucks. And again, he has been very unlucky, because I think in said areas, if we would have been more clinical, I think he would have gotten a lot more goals and assists than he has right now. And
that Ahmad
like
one was criminal when it Shreyas.
Oh,
criminal.
I wasn't able to process as to how a player like Ahmad missed that opportunity. So, and like you mentioned, the first touch as well. I remember in that Burnley game, Bruno used to he used to win the ball back in the midfield, and he played those diagonal passes out wide. And Mbeumo used to just trap it
and get
it on.
Away.
And then straight away run with the ball. Which I was quite impressed by, because in previous seasons we've seen it a lot that Bruno makes those beautiful passes. But there's just not the players there who can control the ball and then move with it. Now that you have got players like Cunha and Mbeumo who are blessed with that sort of a first touch, you're going to see it being a lot more effective. And I think again, when Cunha got injured and Mount got injured, him and Bruno did a lot of damage, I think, when they were moving the ball forward. And one thing good with Mbeumo is he knows how to make those sort of relationships. With Cunha, he's done it. With Mount, he's done it. With Bruno, he does it as well. So I'm hoping he does the same with the likes of Ahmad. But as for now, I think it is 71 million pretty well spent from United.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Talk about bringing in proven players. I mean, it's like you can see sometimes why it is a premium, because he just fits the league perfectly and can hold his own. So I think, for me personally, I think he's the best one out of the lot, out of the signings so far. Now, obviously, that can change. We were only 3 or 4 games in, but I think Mbeumo really, really looks the part. So happy to have him in the team. And I also think he's the closest thing you're going to get to Mo Salah almost as well. Yeah. In terms of efficiency, strength on the ball, dribbling, all those things that we just spoke about, and output, yeah, absolutely. And then the last one, which is seems to be conflicting at the moment, is Benjamin Šeško, my boy, who, for all intents and purposes,
early days,
probably 80 minutes football in total, I'd say, something along the lines of that. A lot was made about the penalty against Grimsby that he didn't take. Amorim came out and said he had cramp. It's one of the reasons why. It's been back and forth about him. Trust me, in plenty of my group chats where people are absolutely grilling me and say, "You told me he was going to be good," and I said, "Whoa! Like, do we always just judge a fucking player based off like 80 minutes of football? What's going on here?" Like, we all remember Xerxes' start that he had as well. You mentioned it before with the game against Newcastle. Sorry, Vidic and Evra was shit for the first 6 months. Like, we've got this boy acclimatized a little bit. He didn't play since April. And that's not me cushioning it because I rated him. Like, that's just, with any player would do that.
He looks, he looks really sharp in my opinion. And I think he was, again, in that Burnley game, should have gotten a goal because he got 3 really good opportunities of a cross. Yeah. One of them, he made a really good leap and it just went over the crossbar. But again, I think there were 2 more opportunities where he could have converted, but he's not he's still a bit rusty, and you can see it when he plays. But the only way to get that sorted out is to get him consistent minutes. That's why I still think this international break has happened at pretty much the best possible time. Players point out, they get fine-tuned, they get that sort of minutes, sharpness is in, and Cunha and Mount being out, you're getting that sort of cushion that maybe Cunha sneaks it. Maybe he doesn't start, but at least he's there on the bench and he can come on and make an impact. But I was so disheartened to hear about Mount. Honestly, I was so disheartened because he was looking so good, fitting in like a glove, that sort of hybrid front three that we were playing with, creating a lot of chances. Again, that's the only problem with Mount. Not a question on his ability, not a question about even his effectiveness or his commitment. It's just that, he cannot give you 10 to 15 consecutive games of football.
Yeah, absolutely. Benjamin Šeško needs time. So far, look, he hasn't scored, but he's only had 80 minutes of football. He does actually start with Slovenia tonight in the national team.
He's saving for the derby.
Yeah. Well, that derby's fascinating, isn't it? It really, really is, as to who's going to start. Will Šeško start? I think he's going to go with Mount again, personally.
If he's fit.
Yeah, that's a good point. If
The
Mount,
thing
but
is,
then
I think what I
Cunha's
heard with
out
Mount
as
was,
well, innit?
yeah, they said with Cunha it's not as bad and he'll be back soon. With Mount, they said they're going to proceed with caution because it doesn't look that good.
Yeah, God knows what team we're going to resemble together
So
there.
you don't know when Mount is going to be back.
But I think naturally playing against Man City anyway, with the space that you get in behind against them, I think Šeško and Mbumo,
yeah,
Ahmad, Bruno, like
I think
deploy Bruno further up.
I think he's going to play Bruno in that left hand side. He's going to go Boom on the right, Šeško up top, and finally we
Stodge it out in the middle.
And hopefully. I think he's going to go with Cass and Meno in the middle.
Yeah.
So Meno will get his chance.
Yeah. In actual fact, it's going to be a perfect segue to the next part of the show that I wanted to do. And it's in regards to, I'm sure you would have seen him yourself, but there's some kind of underlying metrics with Man United, again, in the first part of the season, which I thought was really interesting. So we might as well dive into him. So this is in the Premier League. We are first in highest XG, so 6.78. First, most touches in the opposition's box with 99. Most shots with 58. Most accurate crosses per game, most accurate long balls per game, and second most shots on target per game as well. For a team who, you think about the narrative in the media at the minute with Man United, obviously the Grimsby game was a big part of that, which I accept and I get. Does seeing those statistics surprise you a little bit?
Not at all. And that is the reason, after that Burnley game, I put that message in the group as well, that if we start even, to have even like a 20% conversion ratio, we score a whole lot more goals. And 20% is not that much. Like, it's a basic even for relegation teams.
The thing with that is, though, Shreyas, like, I feel like that getting that conversion is the big part of it, though.
That's why you put Cunha and Mbumo and Šeško in. That is the whole reason. And I think maybe Šeško takes a bit time, but I think Cunha and Mbumo will help you out a lot. Bruno is going to, again, help you out a lot, especially, if you put him further up. I don't have a doubt that Bruno can't play in that advanced 10. I think he's going to play, and if he plays, he's going to be well. But like you mentioned, shots on target as well. We're in the top 5. When it comes to having, this surprised me more, that having possession, we are in the top 5 with 57% average possession in each game.
Yeah.
So that was
the big difference. With the Arsenal game, that was the big difference. With that one, it was kind of like, I know we didn't win the game, but whenever we played a big team, we was always playing counter-attacking football, weren't we? And we'd always concede possession, whereas against Arsenal, it was more dominant than that, which was why everyone was so confused when we had that game against Grimsby. It's like, how can you go from a performance like that, which we didn't win the game, granted, but then the performance against Grimsby, it was like night and day.
Yeah, and the goalkeeper didn't help you out much either.
No, they never do.
And touches in the opposition box, we are first and second is Bournemouth. So again, the thing is just to get that sort of clinicality on our shoulders. And if once we do that, Cunha gets going, Mbumo gets going, and most importantly, Šeško gets going.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see goals. If it was the same attack as last year's, that you had Garnacho, you had the likes of maybe Ahmad there, Højlund there, or Xerxes being shoehorned in that 10 position or somehow, I wouldn't have been optimistic at all. Because again, I would just say, the whole team is going to revolve around Bruno. If he goes, scores or he gets an assist, that's the way we score. But there's no one else who can, be an outlet for goals or assists. Right now, you've got those sort of outlets. You've got quality in and around the pitch. And I think this luck factor, that us being unlucky and unfortunate in front of goal, it's going to run out at some point. And what this team right now really needs is that release. That, you need a good 2 to 3 goals going in. And I think once that happens, the players will feel a whole lot more confident. And this has been a momentum team for quite some time. When good results are flowing in, everything starts to fall in place.
It's just confidence in football is massive, isn't it? It really is. It's like a pendulum swinging. Once it start going in, that's why purple patches are a thing. You saw when Rasmus Højlund scored his first goal after that, he ended up scoring another fucking 12 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But the one thing that worried me at the start was against Fulham, we scored an own goal, didn't we? Then against Burnley, with the first goal that we scored, I'm like, oh, who scored that? I was asking people who scored. Oh, it's an own goal again. I was thinking, fucking hell, man. Because the narrative then, coming out from Sky Sports, TalkSport, etc., is going to be they spent 200 million on their attack, and the only 2 goals that they've got are fucking own goals. And if Bruno would have converted his against Fulham as well, oh, it's only a penalty. Like, you see these things start. So I want to start seeing goals now, and hopefully Mbumo started us without scoring, scoring that tap in against Burnley. So fingers crossed, that's one of many.
It's going to happen a lot more. But again, I still see it, the media as well, targeting it completely towards United. How many have City scored?
Yeah.
Besides that one game against Wolves, where they didn't
Yeah.
even look good and they scored 4, they haven't scored much.
It's interesting, isn't it? What's going on with them at the moment, Man City?
And how much have they spent in the past 2 windows? 390 million.
Yeah, if we beat them, which is, I don't think a lot of people would say, oh, it's unlikely to happen or we can't do it.
You know what? With the situation that we are in, I know we are going to go up to City and we are going to have a good performance because this is what we do every single time.
Yeah.
Like when it's been shaky for us, that City game comes in and we just, play really well, and then it's Sunderland or another relegated team, we seem to falter apart. So I just know that City game is going to work out well for us.
I put a clip up yesterday. I don't know if you saw it. I was saying that the narrative around City, if United beat City when we come back in the derby, we go 4 points ahead of them. They'll have one win out of 4 games at the start of the season. Like that is just unheard of. And for a team who they've got Rodri back in now, they've got Reinders in, they've got Cherke, they've got all these players in, Eight Nore, and they've won 1 out of 4. But if that was United, Amorim's been getting absolutely grilled, and they won't grill Pep. They won't do it.
No.
So yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll have the preview for that next week. We don't have to worry about it just yet. Just as a side topic, we had a bit of transfer news coming in from Duncan Castles. And he was saying, and we knew that the targets in those inside 10 areas were Premier League proven players. So Cunha and Mbeumo were the ones we signed, but Eberechi Eze was mentioned, Semenyo, players like this. And apparently United aggressively pursued Antoine Semenyo from March, agreed personal terms and capped their offer at 55 million. Ruben Amorim also met him for a meal and character check at the end of the season, which, again, I don't know how true it is. It's just a report that we're going off. But Semenyo, you could see straight away, can't you? I mean, he was good last season, but he's looked good, hasn't he? He's looked good at the start. The strength, the physicality you would talk about.
It surprises me how good Bournemouth have been, even though the amount of players that they've lost, and they still look so good.
Apart, isn't it?
Zabarni gone, Huijsen gone, Kepa gone, Kerkez gone. They've lost a whole bunch of players.
Yeah.
And then after that, coming into the season, and I still, say that majority of these top 6, top 8 teams haven't played good football. Liverpool haven't really played great football. Arsenal haven't played good football at all. City have been struggling. All of these teams, for that matter. Villa are in the relegation zone, right? They haven't won even a single game yet. So, it hasn't really been going well for any of the clubs, for that matter. But these 2 teams for me, Bournemouth and Palace, they've looked so good.
Palace under Glasgow.
Yeah. They've honestly look really decent and much better than. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, can I just say on that? That's the one thing, Shreyas, with me. That's why I'm still not convinced with Amorim, is because the job that Glasnow's done with Palace, in my opinion, he's got more out of his squad with a similar kind of setup and a similar kind of system, and they've had players took off him as well. Like Eze's gone.
Olise's gone.
Elise, obviously, they had taken off him as well. Gay was close to be going, would have been stripped to that centre back as well. So for me, just watching them, they look so well set up. And I want to see that. I'm talking from a defensive side of things. I want to see that with United, and you can't see that. And it's not as if they've got world beaters in midfield. They're playing Will Hughes. I know they've got Wharton, for example, but they still play like Will Hughes or Kamada sometimes will drop in there, and they've got exciting wing back in Munoz, etc. But I like the way they set up, and I don't feel as safe watching United. But maybe we're better from an attacking perspective. I don't know.
The thing is, we are better from an attacking perspective, no doubt. Palace is more balanced in their approach. And another thing with that is there haven't really been as many eyeballs on Palace when they weren't doing well at all. Like when last season started, Palace was with us for quite some time in those, 11, 12, 13, 14 positions. But as the season grew on, they started to get that sort of momentum in, and they started to do well. The thing is with United, everything is attacked and criticized so much, even if you do one simple thing incorrect. And the thing with Glasner is he's been given a whole lot of time, for sure. And on top of that, one thing definitely that he's done really well, he's been able to make the most of what he's got. With Mateta being there, Mateta wasn't doing as great at all when he moved to Palace, but since he's gone in, his numbers have been really good.
But that's the sign of a good coach, right? Like
Yeah,
getting the best out of the players. That's
you
what
know,
Glasner does.
Munoz has been absolutely amazing for Palace on that right hand side as a
Oh
wing back.
yeah.
With the way he plays and the way he actually deploys him in that area is quite interesting to see. And one thing that I really like about Palace is they are not an easy team to break down. They're quite organized, they're very
Really
compact,
organized.
and they're really, it's not like they play with a similar formation as us, but it's not that everyone is just completely in attack, or you can see spaces and behind. They're very well organized.
Yeah.
So I think he's done really well, because to have this sort of a team, like you mentioned, losing someone like Olise, who's arguably one of the best players that Bayern have got at the moment, and having to lose these sort of players, and then still going up to teams like Liverpool, United, City, Arsenal, and actually troubling them a lot. Winning the FA Cup against City, it's not easy, especially when you're a club like Palace. But I think they deserve a lot of appreciation for what they've achieved. And again, this season has been a slow start for a lot of clubs, including us, but they've looked at it. Even against Chelsea, they held their own. And in the upcoming games as well, I still expect them to, go on with the same momentum, because they've made, I think they signed Yeremy Pino from Villarreal to replace Eze. So they've got a very exciting squad for me. And who knows where they end up. And they've become this sort of bogey team for United, because every time they come up to Old Trafford or we go up to them, they just seem to get the better of us every single time.
Yeah, it's an horrible game to play against. It really, really is. I think Glasner's going to get a move soon to a big club.
To a big club.
Let's say, someone sacks, let's say Company goes from Bayern Munich or
something. He rejected Bayern.
Yeah.
That's why Company got hired.
Yeah, I remember that. But I was, that's a bad example, but I mean, like, if, a big club gets rid of a manager into Milan or whoever, I think they'll look at Glasner. I think it'd be one of the number one choices.
Do you think by the end of the season, Pep leaves City?
No, he's got too much of an ego and he's too stubborn for me to leave. He'll want to get it right before he goes, I think.
If he doesn't win the league, he ends up 4th or 5th somehow. Do you think he'll still continue?
Yeah, I still think he'll stay. I think there might be something, I don't know, it's obviously speculation, but I think there might be something going on behind, because everyone's still waiting for that result to come out.
Yeah.
With PSR. Everyone's waiting for it.
It was supposed to come out last year.
Yeah, like every month it seems like, oh yeah, it's going to drop then. So I think September, October is going to be the verdict. But again, that could get pushed back. So whether that's having an effect, something about, you just don't know, do you? But they haven't been at the races. I mean, Foden has been injured constantly. He can't seem to get back into the team. I think the loss of Kevin De Bruyne was hugely significant. I think that it's being downplayed that how much of a miss he is, because one thing I would watch in games with Man City, and I don't want to make this a Man City channel, but just because you mentioned City, was even if they had a bit of a stale game, De Bruyne and Haaland would always do something.
Yeah.
Always. And he doesn't have that connection with, say, a player now. So it's kind of like he's still scoring, but it's not coming from, like De Bruyne would just put a cross in, like perfectly.
Yeah, out of anywhere.
Out of anywhere, would just put it in. And they'd win the game by doing it. Or De Bruyne, a shot from outside the box. That's what they're missing in that element. And that might come with the players that they brought in Rangers, who looked really good in the first game. But yeah, I think they're really, really missing that. So again, it leads into the derby being fascinating. One of the other things I wanted to talk about, last things I wanted to talk about, sorry. Obviously, we're on international break at the moment. Quite a lot of players have gone off. Your Casemiros, Dallos, Brunos, etc. One person in Matthijs de Ligt was an unused substitute in the Netherlands draw 1-1 with Poland last night. They actually brought on Van Heck from Brighton in the 87th minute before de Ligt, and they was playing Steven de Vrij, who hasn't played a minute of competitive football at all, and he comes on before him. Does it surprise you, given his performances with de Ligt, and I've been critical of de Ligt before as well, has it surprised you almost how unused he's been in the international setup when they play a back three as well? It's bizarre, right?
Name me one Dutch player who's played for United playing in the Netherlands team till Ronald Koeman is the coach.
Yeah, it's true. Xerxes doesn't either, does he? To be fair, he gets the odd cameo, but
Xerxes is better than Weghorst. I can say.
Oh yeah. Well, we've watched them both. We watched them
so
both.
I know that Xerxes is a whole lot better than Weghorst is, but I have no idea as to what Ronald Koeman is doing with that team. But again, he's failed in what, 3-4 competitions now.
I don't
And
rate him as a manager. Really don't.
they seem to stick with him for some reason, but I don't think that he's able to make the best of his team because, like you mentioned, he played Mickey Van de Ven as a left back in that game.
Yeah,
And
bizarre, innit?
yeah, and the thing is, they're a very good team. If you actually, they got Frankie De Jong, they've got a whole bunch of players who seem, you could say a world class in their teams, but he's just not able to get the best out of him in that team. And like you mentioned, De Vrij came on, Kluivert came on, Weghorst came on, but you're not seeing De Ligt. You're not seeing players like Joshua Zirkzee, who, in fairness, in the time that has gone by, have looked really good.
It seems like international managers seem to go with experience more sometimes than looking towards the future. Because international football, it's kind of like you got to get the results here and now, or it's tournament based. It seems like a lot of them doesn't really look to the future, or you've got time to bed in players. So rather than go, all right, let's put De Ligt in there. I know he's not been great the past couple of times it started, but he's in form for United now. He's playing really, really well. Let's give it a chance. Go, oh no, we'll play De Vrij, who's not even played a minute of football. Very
the thing
bizarre.
is, he's still not getting results.
No, that's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean. I think it's gonna take a change of manager. My battery's gonna die, so I'm gonna switch camera quickly. There we go. That's why you have a backup camera, ladies and gentlemen. Because my camera, for some reason, the battery is very bizarre. But look, maybe that's coming at the perfect timing. Jesus Christ, can't get the camera right. It's going everywhere. Oh, mate, look at that. It's just that's probably the cue for me to end the stream, people, because fucking cameras all over the place. Right. I'm going to leave it at that, people. Appreciate your time, Shreyas. Just a floating head on the screen at the minute. Appreciate everyone else who's tuned in. Obviously, there's quite a few people watching this later on as well. So please do subscribe to the channel. Leave a like on the video for us. We will be back same time tomorrow. Appreciate you all. See you in a bit.
See ya.
Floating head, Nick.